In this second part of our series, we're diving into the next 9 laws from the Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. If you enjoyed the first part, you're in for even more insights that will change how you see people and the world around you. Let's get into it. Law 10, the Law of Envy. Envy is a weed that grows in the soil of comparison. Once it takes root, it can consume us, making us blind to our own potential and the unique path we must follow. Have you ever heard of the rivalry between Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla? Early in their careers, Edison hired Tesla with the promise of a significant reward for solving a major technical problem. However, when Tesla succeeded, Edison refused to pay, dismissing it as a joke. Tesla, feeling betrayed, left, leading to a lifelong feud. This tension was fueled by Edison's envy of Tesla's brilliance, showing how jealousy can destroy relationships and drive conflict, even among the most talented individuals. Envy is one of the most complex emotions that can either push us to improve or consume us with bitterness. It's the feeling of discontent we experience when someone else has something we desire, whether it's possessions, success, or qualities we admire. At its core, envy reflects our own insecurities, unfulfilled desires, and perceived deficiencies. Here are the 2 types of envy to recognize. Passive envy. It works quietly and subtly, often affecting things in sneaky ways. Active envy. This type of envy is easy to spot. It's the person who's openly hostile and aggressive, trying to tear you down. Robert Greene explains that certain situations are more likely to trigger active envy, even in people who may not be naturally envious. For example, the spotlight or receiving compliments can provoke envy in those who feel underappreciated. Colleagues, friends, or family members who are frequently around you and aware of your strengths and weaknesses are more likely to develop envy. The closer someone is to you, the more your success might feel like a direct comparison or challenge to their own standing. Situations where resources such as attention or affection are limited can amplify feelings of competition and envy. Robert Greene provides ways to spot envy. Though it's tricky to detect, it often reveals itself through subtle clues that are easily overlooked. First, you can detect it through microexpressions. Microexpressions are brief, involuntary facial expressions that reveal a person's true feelings, often contrary to what they are trying to project outwardly. These fleeting expressions can betray emotions such as envy or hostility, even when someone is attempting to conceal them. Greene emphasizes paying close attention to these subtle signs, particularly around the eyes, as they often give envy away. These quick looks reveal their true feelings. Second, beware of poisonous praise. When someone gives you a compliment laced with sarcasm, they may be masking their envy. They offer praise but subtly undermine you, making you doubt yourself. Third, watch for backhanded gossip. Gossip often serves as a cover for envy. When someone spreads rumors or negative stories about you, it's likely they feel threatened by your success and want to bring you down. Since these signs can be difficult to spot, understanding the person in front of you can help you identify them more easily. This is why Greene identifies several common envious personalities, each with its own method of attack. First, the leveler. Levelers are obsessed with fairness and justice, but deep down they can't tolerate anyone rising above them. They try to bring others down to their level, often masking their envy behind righteous criticism. Second, the slacker. Slackers feel entitled to success, but are unwilling to put in the effort. They envy those who work hard and achieve more, often trying to charm their way into opportunities rather than earning them. Third, the status seeker. These individuals are obsessed with social rank. They envy those who seem higher on the social ladder and may ask prying questions about your job, income, or lifestyle to compare themselves. Fourth, the clinger. Clingers attach themselves to successful people, hoping to bask in their glow. They don't admire success. They envy it. They want the rewards without the effort, and secretly wish to see their benefactors fail. Fifth, the insecure boss. Some people in power feel threatened by the talent and success of their subordinates. They may sabotage your projects or block your progress out of fear that you will surpass them. We talk about others, but we are like them. Deep down we know it, we have already felt envy against others. So, how do we prevent ourselves from doing that? Here are several key strategies he outlines for cultivating true self-worth. First, focus on mastery and growth. Greene advises people to prioritize personal development and mastery over external success. When you commit to improve your skills and yourself, your self-worth becomes anchored in your abilities rather than how others perceive you. Second, avoid comparing yourself to others. Greene encourages shifting focus away from others' achievements and instead measuring success by your own progress and efforts. Third, embrace your unique qualities. Greene believes that recognizing and owning your individuality is crucial. Rather than conforming to societal standards, building self-worth involves embracing your distinct traits and contributions. Fourth, develop emotional awareness. Greene suggests that by becoming emotionally self-aware, you can strengthen your internal sense of confidence and avoid seeking validation from others. Fifth, build resilience. Facing challenges and setbacks is inevitable. Greene stresses that true self-worth comes from resilience, the ability to learn from failures and bounce back stronger. By applying these strategies, you can cultivate a stronger sense of self-worth and, as a result, dramatically reduce your tendency to feel envious of others. Law 11. The Law of Grandiosity. The moment we give ourselves over to grandiosity, we lose touch with reality and begin to spiral out of control. If you've watched The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, then you're already familiar with the character we'll be discussing, Howard Hughes, a brilliant aviator, businessman, and filmmaker. Early in his career, Hughes achieved incredible success, becoming one of the most famous and powerful men in the world. But as his empire grew, so did his sense of invincibility. Over time, his grandiosity led him to take reckless risks, make poor decisions, and eventually isolate himself. His story illustrates how unchecked pride can distort reality, leading to one's downfall. Grandiosity is a natural part of human psychology. A small taste of success can quickly inflate our egos, leading us to believe we are superior to others. When we start exaggerating our achievements, ignoring the role of luck or the contributions of others, we step into the dangerous territory of grandiosity. It can lead to self-destructive behavior. This is why Robert Greene emphasizes the need to identify signs of elevated grandiosity both in yourself and in others. Here are several key signs of grandiosity to watch for. First, the overestimation of one's abilities. People experiencing grandiosity often believe they are capable of much more than is realistic. They may feel destined for greatness or consider themselves superior to others, frequently overlooking the role of luck or the contributions of those around them. Second, dismissing criticism. Individuals with grandiose tendencies often reject feedback or criticism because they believe they are beyond reproach. They surround themselves with people who affirm their self-image and dismiss those who challenge them. Third, the inflated sense of destiny. A person exhibiting grandiosity may believe they are destined for greatness, interpreting even minor successes as signs of a larger, inevitable future where they play a central role. Fourth, attention-seeking behavior. Grandiose individuals crave attention and often exaggerate their achievements to remain in the spotlight. This can be seen in the need for constant validation, praise, and admiration from others. Fifth, risk-taking without planning. Believing themselves invincible, people with grandiose tendencies often engage in reckless behavior, convinced that they are immune to failure. They take risks driven by the desire for recognition or fame rather than by rational decision-making. Grandiosity evolves depending on whether you're an ordinary individual or in a position of leadership. In leaders, these traits often become more pronounced. Over time, they shape reality to fit their personal narrative, convincing others through the following common illusions. Greatness is my destiny. For them, their life is a tale of inevitable greatness, as if they were always destined for success. I'm one of you. They project an image of being relatable, positioning themselves as champions of the common person, despite their actual detachment from reality. I will be your savior. In times of crisis, they emerge with promises to rescue people from their difficulties, using emotional, vague rhetoric to rally followers. I can break the rules. They inspire with bold proclamations that they can defy conventions and win through sheer intuition. Everything I touch turns to gold. They rewrite their pasts, erasing failures and assigning blame elsewhere to maintain an image of perfection. I'm invincible. They take risks, not out of strategy, but out of a desire for attention, often leading to their downfall. While grandiose leaders often let their inflated sense of self lead to arrogance and detachment from reality, Robert Greene reminds us that everyone experiences grandiose desires to some extent. Instead of letting these impulses drive us toward recklessness, he suggests harnessing them in a constructive way. This is what he calls practical grandiosity, where we channel our natural ambition and desire for greatness into productive, realistic goals. Here's how Greene suggests you can adopt practical grandiosity. First, the idea is to be honest with yourself about your ambitions and desires for recognition. Rather than suppressing your desire to feel important, recognize it as a natural part of human nature. By confronting it, you can control and direct it toward positive outcomes. Second, Greene advises focusing your grandiose energy on one clear, attainable goal at a time. Instead of chasing multiple dreams or jumping from project to project, pick something that excites you but is also within reach, then break it down into manageable steps. Third, Greene warns against letting your grandiose ideas disconnect you from reality. Regularly seek feedback, accept criticism, and adapt your vision based on what works in the real world. Keep your ambitions aligned with your actual skills and resources, and let reality shape your plans. Fourth, set goals that are just slightly beyond your current abilities. Greene advises pursuing challenges that push you to grow but aren't so far out of reach that they become demoralizing or impossible. This balance keeps you motivated while steadily advancing your skills and achievements. Fifth, Greene suggests embracing your ambition by occasionally pursuing a risky project, something that excites your grandiose side. In essence, practical grandiosity is about harnessing your ambitions in a realistic and controlled manner, using them to fuel steady progress. Law 12. The Law of Gender Rigidity. Don't be afraid to explore both your masculine and feminine qualities. Embracing these aspects can lead to a richer, more fulfilling life. Elizabeth I firmly resisted pressure to marry, famously declaring she was married to England. This assertive stance, a traditionally masculine trait, allowed her to maintain full control over her reign without being overshadowed by a husband. By refusing to let political marriage define her rule, she exemplified how women can adopt masculine traits like assertiveness to assert their independence and authority in a male-dominated world, using her strength and decision-making to shape her own destiny. Robert Greene emphasizes the idea that we all possess a mix of both masculine and feminine qualities. Due to societal expectations and gender roles, many of these traits are often repressed, leaving important dimensions of our personalities underdeveloped. By reconnecting with these repressed parts, we can unlock untapped potential, becoming more complete individuals. To reconnect with your full self, start by exploring the traits you've repressed. If you're a man, you might feel that patience isn't one of your strong suits. In that case, you can work on developing patience by becoming more tolerant and learning to wait calmly. Similarly, if you're a woman and feel you lack assertiveness, you can focus on being more proactive, taking initiative, and embracing a less passive role. Greene also discusses how these repressed qualities can unconsciously affect our romantic relationships. He uses Carl Jung's concept of gender projections to show ways people project their unmet desires or unresolved issues onto others. He presents 6 common types of gender projections, which are the devilish romantic. This projection occurs when someone idealizes a partner who seems capable of providing everything they desire. For example, a woman might be drawn to an older, successful man who she believes will fulfill her emotional needs, only to find that he doesn't meet her expectations in reality. The elusive woman of perfection. This type involves a person who projects an idealized image onto a potential partner, imagining them as perfect based on limited interaction. For instance, a man might idolize a woman he barely knows, only to be disappointed when her real personality doesn't match his fantasy. The lovable rebel. This projection happens when someone is attracted to partners who challenge authority. For example, a woman might be drawn to a man who defies conventional expectations, hoping he will represent the freedom she lacked growing up. The fallen woman. Here, a person is attracted to partners who represent the opposite of their own past experiences, often as a form of rebellion. For instance, a man who grew up with a strong, controlling mother might seek out a woman who is unconventional, hoping to save her as a way to rebel against his upbringing. The superior man. This projection is seen when someone desires a partner who appears confident and powerful, often due to their own feelings of inadequacy. For example, a woman might be attracted to a successful, dominant man, hoping to gain validation through him due to her own insecurities. The woman to worship him. This type involves a person who seeks a partner who will provide adoration and support, reflecting their own need for validation. For example, a man might pursue a woman who seems to worship him, mirroring the excessive praise he received from his mother. These projections often lead to dissatisfaction because they stem from a search for external validation or qualities that need to be nurtured internally. Robert Greene suggests that unlocking repressed qualities, whether masculine or feminine, can lead to a more balanced and effective life. To do so, he advises to acknowledge and embrace both sides. By acknowledging these repressed traits, we can integrate them into our lives. When you have acknowledged those traits, explore them. For example, a person who has been overly focused on assertiveness might benefit from cultivating sensitivity, and vice versa. By unlocking these repressed qualities, you become more adaptable and flexible in various situations. For instance, a person who typically emphasizes rationality might benefit from tapping into their emotional side to build stronger relationships. Law 13, the law of aimlessness. A person without a clear sense of purpose is like a ship without a rudder. It drifts aimlessly, often running aground on the reefs of circumstance and chance. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor of Rome, facing constant wars, political turmoil, and personal loss. Yet through it all, he held onto a clear sense of purpose. Every morning, he reminded himself of this: to act justly, to remain disciplined, and to focus on the greater good. This guiding vision allowed him to navigate chaos and maintain control, while others crumbled under the weight of power. Unlike animals that are driven by instinct, humans must actively choose their direction in life. Without a clear sense of purpose, we are prone to aimless wandering, which can lead us to dead ends. But with a strong sense of purpose, we find clarity, resilience, and protection against doubt and depression. Many are seduced by false purposes, which are quick fixes that promise meaning but lead to emptiness. Here are some of the most common distractions people fall for. Pursuit of pleasure. Seeking instant gratification through distractions like excessive entertainment often masks deeper dissatisfaction. Instead, cultivate a sense of purpose that transcends fleeting pleasures. Causes and cults. People may be attracted to groups or causes that promise a sense of belonging or significance. Be cautious of organizations with vague goals that may just serve as an emotional outlet rather than a genuine path to purpose. Money and success. While financial success can be a byproduct of purpose, chasing it as an end goal can lead to emptiness. Focus on meaningful work, and financial rewards will often follow. Attention and fame. Social media has amplified the quest for recognition. Rather than seeking superficial fame, invest in creating meaningful projects that resonate with your true purpose. Cynicism. Viewing life as meaningless can lead to embracing a void as purpose. Resist falling into this trap by actively seeking and pursuing authentic, fulfilling goals. By understanding and applying these insights, you can steer clear of aimlessness and channel your energies into a purposeful, fulfilling life. But to go even deeper, Robert Greene gives us 5 strategies to develop a strong sense of purpose. First, discover your calling. Reflect on moments from your past where you felt naturally at ease and fulfilled. These experiences often hint at your true calling. For example, if you felt invigorated while helping others, consider roles that allow you to continue this work. Second, transform criticism into motivation. Pursuing your purpose will attract criticism, some of which may be fueled by envy. Use this as a driving force to further refine and commit to your goals, rather than letting it deter you. Third, associate with purposeful people. Surround yourself with individuals who have a clear sense of direction. Their energy and focus can be contagious, helping you stay aligned with your own purpose. Fourth, set a ladder of goals. break down long-term objectives into smaller, manageable steps. This approach reduces anxiety and makes progress more achievable. Start with immediate, actionable goals that lead you toward your larger vision. Fifth, dedicate time to find flow. Engage deeply in your work without being distracted by external rewards. Focus on achieving states of flow where you are fully immersed and productive. Law 14, the law of conformity. The most dangerous place for an individual to be is in a crowd. Imagine a leader so feared that even his closest allies were terrified of making a single misstep. Joseph Stalin mastered this dynamic, using fear as a tool to manipulate and control those around him. His brutal tactics are a perfect example of how leaders can cause regression in others, bringing them back to their most primitive, obedient state. Let's see how human nature is influenced by the pressures of the crowd. Humans have a social personality, a different side to their character that emerges in groups. As discussed in Law 4, our character is shaped early in life, influenced by childhood experiences and daily habits. In social contexts, our character often diminishes as our social personality takes over. As a result, we may unconsciously imitate others in the group, sometimes without even realizing it. This isn't inherently good or bad, it's simply human nature. However, if we don't recognize these forces, we risk being controlled by them. This is why Robert Greene presents 4 social personalities in action for us to recognize. The desire to fit in. We often change our appearance, ideas, or behavior to match the group and avoid standing out. The need to perform. Groups make us act like we're on stage, tailoring our words and actions to gain approval from others. Emotional contagion. Emotions spread like wildfire in groups. You might find yourself acting impulsively, influenced by the crowd's energy. Hypercertainty. Decisions in groups can feel urgent, making us more confident but also prone to risky, impulsive behavior. To better spot the change in your behavior, you must be able to understand key group dynamics. Group culture. Every group has its own unspoken rules and culture, shaping how its members behave. Unwritten rules. There are hidden codes of conduct in every group that guide behavior, even if they're not openly stated. The group enemy. Many groups bond by identifying an enemy or villain, giving the group something to fight against. Factions. As groups grow, factions start to form, creating rivalries that can destabilize the group if left unchecked. The power struggle. Every group has a leader and those competing for power. The group influences your behavior, but you also have the power to shape the group dynamic. Here, 5 strategies to build a strong group. Create a clear sense of purpose. Define a strong, collective purpose that everyone can rally behind. Assemble the right team. Surround yourself with people who balance your weaknesses and can help execute your vision. Encourage open communication. A healthy group thrives on the free flow of ideas. Keep discussions transparent to build trust. Infect the group with productive emotions. As a leader, your determination and positivity will set the tone. When things get tough, your perseverance will push the group forward. Test your team. In times of crisis or pressure, true character is revealed. Give your team challenging tasks with tight deadlines to see how they perform under stress. If you understand group dynamics and successfully implement those strategies, you'll find ways to maintain control over your own personality while also shaping the group instead of being shaped by it. Law 15. The law of fickleness. People are fickle by nature. One moment they cheer you on, the next they tear you down. Julius Caesar wasn't just a military genius. He was a master of managing people's fickle loyalties. At a time when the Roman Republic was plagued by shifting alliances and unstable loyalties, Caesar knew how to win over not just his soldiers, but the entire populace. Let's uncover how successful leaders manage the unpredictable nature of human loyalty, just like Caesar did. Human emotions and opinions are often unpredictable and can change swiftly, leaving leaders vulnerable to sudden shifts in loyalty. Whether it's at a political rally, a sports event, or in everyday relationships, we see this fickleness at play. A single unexpected event can turn excitement into division or support into hostility. Fickleness is influenced by both internal and external factors. On a personal level, our perceptions are constantly shaped by past experiences, current emotions, and future aspirations, causing abrupt changes in how we view the world and the people around us. For instance, someone might feel deeply in love one day, but suddenly disconnected after a minor disagreement. Opinions and emotions are easily swayed by external influences. Social pressures, persuasive personalities, or the allure of novelty can quickly shift loyalties. Fickleness can undermine a leader's authority and cause instability. This is why Robert Greene explains how leaders handle fickleness to maintain power and influence. Here are the 8 strategies leaders use to respond to fickleness. If you want to secure lasting loyalty, you need to provide deep emotional connections, establish values that resonate with their deeper desires and fears, and they'll be less likely to abandon you when things get tough. Focus on cultivating a consistent long-term vision that outlasts the temporary highs and lows. Even when things change, those who trust your steadiness will remain loyal. In a crowd, emotions become contagious. When leading a group, be mindful of the energy in the room and the power of collective emotions. If things start to turn, redirect their energy before it becomes chaotic. People tend to get bored when they think they have you figured out. Stir things up by occasionally being unpredictable. Show different sides of your personality or take unexpected actions to keep people intrigued. Fickleness makes people quick to judge. As a leader, don't allow these fluctuations to distract you. Focus on the bigger picture and keep working towards long-term goals, knowing that those who remain loyal are the ones worth keeping. Create symbols or traditions that represent continuity and stability. These visual or cultural markers can provide a sense of security and loyalty among followers, reminding them of your long-term reliability. Knowing when to act is as important as knowing what to do. Be patient and strategic, ensuring your actions appear well-timed and deliberate. This calculated approach reassures people that you are in control even in times of uncertainty. When things become unpredictable or chaotic, people look to their leaders for composure. By staying calm and collected in moments of crisis, you project confidence and authority, which helps stabilize others and keeps them loyal through turbulent times. Leadership styles may evolve over time, but one thing remains constant. People are always skeptical of those in power. Just watch the news, and you'll see how easily leaders rise and fall based on their latest success or failure. While people may fear power, they always respect true authority. True authority isn't about forcing people to follow you. It's about inspiring them to do so willingly. Here's how to establish lasting authority. Understand your own values, strengths, and weaknesses. This self-knowledge forms the foundation of your authority, allowing you to lead authentically. Authentic leaders attract followers because they resonate with their true selves rather than trying to mimic others. Find the one that resonates with you and build your authority from there. Think about different archetypes of leadership. The protector, like a firefighter or a hero who shields people from harm. The innovator, the visionary who breaks the mold and leads a new direction. The unifier, the healer who brings people together and creates harmony. The teacher, the wise leader who empowers others to learn and grow from their mistakes. Leadership is not a privilege, it's a responsibility. Instead of focusing on your own needs, pay attention to how you can help others. Foster connections with others by understanding their perspectives and emotions. Be a good listener, and people will follow because they know you care. As a leader, don't get caught up in everyday drama or overreact to small problems. Cultivate a clear vision of your goals and values. Having a strong sense of direction helps to inspire and guide others while reinforcing your own authority. Demonstrate your commitment by working as hard, if not harder, than those you lead. When you set the right tone, others will naturally rise to meet it. Being too predictable can weaken your authority. Occasionally mix things up. Display qualities people wouldn't expect from you. This keeps them intrigued and stops them from putting you into a box. If people feel you're taking something away, whether it's their time, money, or rights, they'll start to doubt your leadership. Always be seen as giving back to the group, never taking away. Every generation is different, and what worked before might not work now. To maintain authority, stay adaptable. Change your style to fit the new mood or culture. Keep evolving, and you'll stay relevant. Recognize that while group influences your behavior, you also have the power to shape the group, creating a reciprocal relationship. Law 16, the law of aggression. The human heart is a battlefield, constantly torn between love and aggression. Humans are inherently aggressive, but society has developed ways to mask and subdue these instincts, creating a veneer of civility. On the surface, people around us seem polite and civil, but beneath that, we all carry a capacity for aggression, especially in certain situations like competition or group dynamics, where aggression can quickly surface. Aggression often stems from feelings of insecurity or helplessness. For some, these feelings are fleeting, but for chronic aggressors, they're a constant. These individuals often attempt to control others as a way of masking their own vulnerabilities, most likely rooted in early childhood experiences. Greene emphasizes that we all have aggressive energy, but how we channel it makes the difference. He identifies 3 ways of channeling your aggressiveness. Turned inward. This form of aggression manifests as internalizing frustrations, often resulting in depression, self-doubt, and negative self-talk. Instead of expressing anger outward, individuals direct it at themselves, which can be equally damaging. Directed at others. When we're unable to assert ourselves directly, we find sneaky ways to express anger. This is a passive-aggressive behavior that can harm relationships. Directed at work. The idea is to control and turn that aggression into ambition and productivity. Think of an athlete or entrepreneur pushing through challenges. Regarding passive aggressors more precisely, they often mask their hostility behind politeness. Here's how passive aggression shows up and how to counter them. The subtle superiority mask. This is the person who's always late or making insincere apologies to demonstrate control. Here you can counter them by setting clear boundaries. The sympathy mask. They play the victim to gain attention. They seek to evoke sympathy while subtly controlling the narrative to keep others focused on their suffering. Don't give in to their drama. The insinuating doubt mask. They make passive comments designed to lower your self-esteem, like giving backhanded compliments or subtle insults. The aim is to make you question yourself, leaving you feeling insecure without them having to be openly hostile. The solution for you here is to refuse to let their comments stick. The blame shifter mask. When confronted, this person deflects responsibility by acting hurt or disappointed, subtly suggesting that you are the one at fault. Their goal is to make you feel guilty for calling them out. In this case, your need to stay firm and objective. The passive tyrant mask. This mask is worn by people, often in positions of power, who are impossible to please. No matter what you do, it's never enough. Their aim is to keep you feeling inadequate and under their control. The solution for you is to walk away. The key is not to repress your aggressive tendencies, but to channel them toward productive outcomes. Instead of reacting emotionally or becoming passive-aggressive, direct this energy into solving problems and achieving your goals. By mastering your aggression, you can turn a potentially destructive force into one that drives you toward success. To do so, Robert Greene encourages to be conscious of your own aggressive tendencies and channel them into positive, assertive actions. Here's how. Self-awareness. Recognize that everyone has aggressive impulses, whether subtle or overt. Instead of denying or repressing them, you should acknowledge their presence. Greene emphasizes that understanding these tendencies helps you manage and redirect them in productive ways. Controlled aggression. Greene advocates for channeling aggression towards achieving meaningful goals. By directing your assertive energy into your work, projects, or ambitions, you turn raw aggression into a force that propels you forward in life. It's about transforming frustration into motivation and drive. Confidence and assertiveness. Greene highlights the importance of assertiveness in interactions. Rather than being passive or aggressive, assertiveness allows you to stand your ground and express your needs without hostility. This approach leads to better relationships and more respect from others. Strategic thinking. Instead of reacting impulsively when provoked, Greene advises using aggression strategically. This means being calm, thinking through your actions, and using your energy to outsmart competitors or adversaries. Law 17. The law of generational myopia. You might think you're steering your life, but the truth is, the times you were born into have more control over you than you realize. How much of your thinking is really yours? Imagine leading one of the greatest empires in history with wisdom and foresight, only to see it unravel because of the next generation's blindness to the bigger picture. That's what happened with Marcus Aurelius and his son, Commodus. While Aurelius ruled with discipline and long-term thinking, Commodus's short-sighted indulgence led to the empire's decline. Let's dive into how generational myopia can sabotage even the strongest legacies, and what we can learn from it to break free from our own time-bound perspective. Everyone born in the 1990s grew up in a world defined by the rise of the internet and globalization, while someone born in the 1950s was shaped by the post-war economic boom and Cold War tensions. These experiences formed different worldviews, whether we're aware of it or not. Ibn Khaldun, a 14th century historian, observed that history tends to unfold in cycles over 4 generations. Greene uses this framework to illustrate how each generation reacts to the previous one, shaping their values and behaviors. The first generation rebels against the status quo, bringing new ideas and change. Think of the 1960s civil rights leaders or the tech pioneers of the 1990s. They break the rules, challenge the system, and bring radical new ideas to the table. The next generation come after the upheaval caused by the revolutionaries. Their role is to make sense of the new world that has been created, bringing structure and stability to what was once chaotic. Historically, look at France after the Revolution. Napoleon emerged as a stabilizing force, organizing and codifying laws through the Napoleonic Code. While this generation doesn't break ground, they ensure that the gains of the revolution are institutionalized and preserved. The third generation focuses on practical growth, aiming for comfort and prosperity like those who fueled the economic boom after World War II, or the entrepreneurs of the 1980s, working within the system to create stability and material comfort. Finally, the fourth generation doesn't just reject authority. They often see the futility in further attempts to fix or build systems that seem inherently flawed. They can either become apathetic or embrace nihilism, or they question the status quo and prepare for the next cycle of revolution. This generation is where we often see the rise of new forms of protest, rebellion, and alternative lifestyles. Robert Greene emphasizes that to effectively exploit the spirit of your time, you should adopt several strategies. Recognize how your generation influences your perceptions and behaviors so you can break free from those constraints. Start by questioning the core beliefs you take for granted, asking yourself, what are the core beliefs of my generation? Are these truly my values? And where do they fit in the historical cycle? Challenge the assumptions of your time. This self-awareness will help you navigate and overcome generational biases. Question traditional values and beliefs, including those of your parents and predecessors. This encourages innovation and personal growth. Don't let age limit your curiosity. Don't fall into the trap of thinking, I've seen it all. Whether you're 20 or 50, push yourself to explore new technology, new movements, new ideas. For example, try reading books or consuming media from another generation's perspective. The goal is to keep growing, not stagnate. Interacting with younger individuals can provide fresh perspectives and insights, helping bridge generational gaps. Study how history repeats itself. Dive into the works of philosophers, historians, and artists from previous generations to expand your understanding of different mindsets and values. The more you understand the cycles of history, the more you can anticipate how your own generation's story might unfold. For example, learn how revolutions like the French Revolution emerged from periods of inequality. Be flexible and responsive to the evolving social landscape. Recognizing shifts in cultural trends allows you to position yourself advantageously. Every generation has a dominant feeling, whether it's the cynicism of Gen X, the ambition of millennials, or the activism of Gen Z. To truly succeed, tap into this energy, whether it's by creating content, businesses, or ideas that resonate with the frustrations or hopes of your generation. Find a way to speak to what people are feeling and turn it into opportunity. Law 18, the Law of Death Denial. Only by accepting the reality of death can we truly begin to live with purpose. While it sounds counterintuitive, reflecting on death actually makes us feel more alive. We often avoid thinking about death, distracting ourselves with routine or meaningless pursuits. But by doing so, we lose sight of what truly matters. Take a moment to imagine your own death. Where are you? What would you be doing? Picture the end of your life and think about what really matters. This deadline isn't just a morbid reminder, it's an opportunity. Knowing your time is limited pushes you to prioritize relationships, passions, and long-held dreams that will form your true legacy. What will you leave behind when your time comes? As humans, we often deny the inevitable. Billions have come before us, and in 50 years, most of us will no longer be here. This isn't meant to scare you. It's a reality check. By recognizing this shared experience, we connect to something larger than ourselves. Robert Greene reminds us that this awareness isn't a weight, it's freedom. Knowing we will die gives life urgency, pushing us to make the most of every moment. Another important element Greene emphasizes is the need to contemplate the sublime, the vastness of time and space. When we take time to reflect on the infinity of the universe, our individual struggles and ambitions suddenly seem small. Our ego shrinks. In the face of this grand scale, Greene explains, our daily worries and anxieties begin to feel trivial. This broader perspective allows us to detach from the unimportant and focus on what truly matters.